The Doña Paz, a passenger ferry, was a lifeline for many Filipinos. This vessel was more than just a means of transportation. It was a bridge connecting families, friends, and communities scattered across the Philippine archipelago. She connected islands, carrying dreams and aspirations across the vast Philippine archipelago. For many, the ferry was a symbol of hope and opportunity, a way to reach new horizons and reunite with loved ones. On December 20th, 1987, the Doña Paz embarked on a routine trip. It was a journey she had made countless times before, navigating the familiar waters with a sense of purpose and reliability. Departing from Tacloban City, she was bound for Manila. The route was well known to the crew and passengers alike, a testament to the ferry's integral role in their lives. On board were over 4,000 souls, many returning home for the holidays. The ferry was bustling with activity, filled with the sounds of excited chatter and the anticipation of joyful reunions. Families huddled together, sharing stories and laughter, unaware of the horror that awaited them. Children played on the deck, their laughter mingling with the gentle hum of the ship's engines. The sea was calm, a gentle breeze whispering tales of distant shores. The tranquility of the ocean seemed to promise a safe and uneventful journey. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the deck, a sense of normalcy prevailed. Passengers settled in for the night, some gazing at the breathtaking sunset, others preparing for a restful sleep. Little did anyone know this voyage would end in an inferno, forever etching the Doña Paz's name into maritime history as the world's deadliest peacetime maritime disaster. The calm before the storm was deceptive, masking the impending tragedy that would claim thousands of lives and leave an indelible mark on the hearts of those who survived. Inside the ferry's crowded decks, life unfolded in a vibrant tapestry of human connection and shared experiences. The ferry, a vessel of hope and anticipation, carried its passengers towards their destinations, each with their own stories and dreams. Families squeezed onto bamboo mats, sharing snacks and stories. Parents recounted tales of their youth, while children listened with wide-eyed wonder, their imaginations painting vivid pictures of the past. The sense of community was palpable, as strangers became friends over shared meals and laughter. Children, their eyes sparkling with excitement, chased each other through the throngs of people. Their laughter echoed across the deck, a symphony of joy that momentarily erased the worries of the adults. Games of tag and hide-and-seek transformed the ferry into a playground, where the boundaries of space and time seemed to blur. The air, thick with the aroma of food and the murmur of conversations, vibrated with a palpable energy. Vendors moved through the crowd, offering an array of treats from freshly grilled skewers to sweet, sticky rice cakes. The mingling scents created a sensory feast, adding to the festive atmosphere. A young couple holding hands gazed at the approaching sunset, their faces illuminated by the golden light. They whispered dreams of the future, their hearts full of hope and love. The setting sun cast a warm glow over the deck, creating a moment of serene beauty amidst the bustling activity. A group of musicians filled the air with lively melodies, their music a temporary escape from the cramped conditions. The rhythmic beats and harmonious tunes brought smiles to faces and set feet tapping. For a while the ferry transformed into a floating concert hall, where music bridged the gaps between strangers. Hope and anticipation hung heavy in the air, a collective dream of reaching home, of reunions, of the festive season ahead. Faces lit up with the prospect of seeing loved ones, of celebrating togetherness and creating new memories. The journey was more than just a passage, it was a bridge to cherished moments. Unbeknownst to them, tragedy lurked just beneath the surface of their joyful anticipation. The laughter and smiles masked the impending danger, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. In their blissful ignorance, they continued to revel in the moment, unaware of the shadow that loomed ahead. The MT Vector, an oil tanker, sailed towards them, a collision course set in motion by negligence and a series of fatal errors. The vast expanse of the sea, which had seemed so serene, now held the potential for disaster. The fates of those on board the ferry and the tanker were intertwined, their destinies converging in a tragic twist of fate. As darkness enveloped the Doña Paz, the vast expanse of the ocean seemed eerily calm. The ship, a beacon of light in the night, sailed smoothly through the waters. However, a sense of unease settled over the ship. Passengers, some of whom were seasoned travelers, couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. The ship's crew, seemingly unaware of the impending danger, continued their routines. They performed their tasks with the precision and calm that comes from years of experience at sea. Passengers, lulled by the gentle rocking of the ferry, drifted off to sleep. The rhythmic hum of the engines and the soft lapping of the waves against the hull provided a comforting lullaby. At around 10:30 p.m., the unthinkable happened. The tranquility of the night was shattered in an instant. The MT Vector, carrying 8,800 barrels of petroleum, collided with the Doña Paz. The collision was sudden and violent, catching everyone off guard. The impact ripped through the ferry, tearing a gaping hole in its side. Water began to flood the lower decks almost immediately. A deafening explosion shook the vessel, instantly transforming the night into a scene of unimaginable horror. The force of the blast was felt miles away. Flames erupted, engulfing the Doña Paz in a fiery inferno that spread with terrifying speed. The fire, fueled by the petroleum, was relentless and merciless. The once peaceful sea became a raging inferno, trapping thousands within the burning wreckage. The night that began with calm and serenity had turned into a nightmare of epic proportions. Panic seized the passengers as fire raged through the Doña Paz. Screams pierced the night, a chorus of terror echoing across the water. Families desperately clung to each other, their cries swallowed by the roar of the flames. The smell of burning flesh and fuel filled the air, a sickening stench that spoke of unimaginable suffering. The ferry, once a symbol of hope and connection, had become a floating inferno, a fiery tomb for those trapped within its blazing hull. Many, overcome by smoke and flames, perished where they stood. Others, driven by desperation, leaped into the shark-infested waters, their screams a testament to the agonizing choice between fire and sea. In the heart of the inferno, stories of unimaginable courage and despair unfolded. A young mother, her face blackened with soot, fought her way through the flames, clutching her baby tightly. A group of men, their clothes burning, formed a human chain to help passengers escape the inferno. Each desperate breath was a victory against the suffocating smoke and searing heat. The cries of the injured and the dying filled the air, a symphony of suffering that echoed the magnitude of the tragedy. Mothers searched frantically for lost children, their cries a heartbreaking testament to the cruel hand fate had dealt. The sea, lit by the flames of the burning ferry, became a graveyard of shattered dreams and broken families. Amidst the devastation, stories of survival emerged, offering a glimmer of hope in the face of unimaginable tragedy. A young boy, separated from his family, clung to a piece of driftwood for hours, his tiny body tossed about by the waves until he was rescued by a passing fishing boat. A group of passengers, huddled together on a makeshift raft, braved the darkness and the elements, their collective will to survive fueled by the memory of loved ones lost, and the hope of seeing another dawn. These tales of resilience and courage, while overshadowed by the sheer scale of the disaster, served as a poignant reminder of the strength of the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. As dawn broke, revealing the full horror of the Doña Paz disaster, a frantic search and rescue operation began. Fishermen, who were the first to reach the scene, described a horrifying landscape of charred bodies and debris. The Philippine Navy and Coast Guard, ill-equipped for a disaster of this magnitude, struggled to cope with the overwhelming task of recovering bodies and searching for survivors. The official death toll was placed at 4,386, making it the deadliest peacetime maritime disaster in history. However, the actual number of victims may never be known, as the Doña Paz was reportedly carrying many more passengers than its official capacity allowed. The Doña Paz tragedy sent shockwaves throughout the Philippines and the world. The disaster exposed lax safety regulations and overcrowding on Philippine ferries, leading to calls for reform and accountability. For the families of the victims, the pain of their loss remains palpable, a wound that time can never fully heal. Many still grapple with the uncertainty surrounding the fate of their loved ones, their grief compounded by the lack of closure. The disaster serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of negligence. It is a story that continues to resonate, urging us to prioritize safety and remember the human cost of complacency. The Doña Paz tragedy is a stark reminder that even in times of peace, tragedy can strike. It underscores the importance of stringent safety regulations, proper training, and a culture of accountability in the maritime industry. But beyond the lessons learned, it's crucial to remember the human cost of the disaster. The thousands of lives lost, the families torn apart, and the survivors forever scarred by the experience. Their stories serve as a powerful call for action, a demand for safer seas and a commitment to preventing such a tragedy from ever happening again. Let the memory of the Doña Paz and her passengers fuel our efforts to make the maritime world safer for all.